You want to know how to fix all XML sitemaps plugin errors within WordPress? Now I'm going to teach you a series of simple, no-nonsense steps to correct any error within your WordPress website. I will show you some steps that will guide you throughout the correction process, without you having to waste your time looking for any other solution. Everything in a didactic and complete way, without the need for any type of advanced knowledge. Here's a very important step that you cannot neglect. Use good website hosting. 90% of the problems we encounter on WordPress sites are always related to the hosting company. In some cases, the PHP version is out of date. In other cases, PHP does not have an extension allowed or features are missing. Therefore, we recommend Hostinger servers so that you can use PHP in your hosting company, regardless of which country in the world you are in. They have multi-language support, and they serve the entire world. They have a specific plan for WordPress with management, and it is one of the best plans for WordPress. We tested several sites within these plans. From the initial plan, you can host from 100 websites, and they are compatible with absolutely everyone. All the plugins we have tested to date, we have not found any plugin that does not work within the Hostinger environment. They also have a system within the panel to check viruses within WordPress installations, make updates within the panel, and check plugin compatibility, which will help you resolve most problems. There's a link in the description, and if you're purchasing an annual plan or longer, use our link to support our channel. One very important thing, as Rotchinger has a money-back policy if you don't like the product, you can simply do the following. By hosting from Rotchinger, install a WordPress site. Install all the themes and plugins you have on your current website. Check if it will work. If it works, you know the problem is with your website hosting and it's time for you to migrate. All you have to do is bring your website to Hostinger. Even Hostinger does the migration for you free of charge. All you have to do is join one of their plans. I recommend Cloud Startup for sites that need more performance, and call the support team, and they will help you with the migration process. Before making any changes, you must back up your environment. It is very important to have a backup of your website. Even if it has a problem, make a backup of the website to its current state. You can ask your hosting company's support team, or you can hire Hostinger, link in the description, and you can have their automatic backup. Backing up on the Hostinger panel is very simple to do. I'm going to teach here, and almost every hosting company is the same. Within your hosting company's dashboard, you go to Files, and you will have the Backups option. Coming here to the Backups option, I can click on Create New Backup. I come to Select. It warns me that it will overwrite the previous backup. Continue, and it starts creating my backup. I have to wait until this backup is complete, so I can start making the changes that will fix the problems with the plugins and themes within my website. Okay, backup completed. Now you can go to your website, make the necessary changes. If you have a problem, it's very simple to restore the backup. You can come here to restore the website. Select the date of the backup you made. Click on Restore, and it carries out the entire process. This set hosting. If you are using another hosting company, just contact technical support, and they will help you resolve the issue and perform a restoration if necessary. This is the first step to solving problems. In fact, if you have a problem and don't have any new information on the site, you can try restoring old backups to see if it fixes the problem you're getting. Checking the PHP extensions that your plugins and themes require can help you solve many of the problems as well. Here within the hosting panel, we go to PHP configuration. We go to PHP extension, and we check the extensions that are already natively active and you cannot deactivate them. And below are several other extensions that you can optionally activate. Most hosting companies do not have this type of extension available, which is why we chose Hostinger as a partner. Let's go. I'll give you an example, and this is just an example. You can use this base for any plugin you use. You go to Google and search for the name of the plugin and the PHP extensions it needs, or read the documentation. So, for example here, Elementor. He has the PHP zlib extension as a necessity. He needs this extension active. Coincidentally, it is also an extension required by WordPress. So it's obvious that our site has the extension active, but it's important for you to know that all of your plugins have PHP extensions that they need to work. A plugin can depend on an extension. Another plugin may depend on another. So it's important that you have all necessary extensions active. How do you find this out? Talking to the plugin developer or reading the documentation. Generally, most hosting companies come with all the necessary extensions active, but there may be cases where you have to test to see if your plugin depends on any extension. Additional PHP. Increase PHP memory. This is a step that solves most cases of problems with plugins, especially cases of instability, when the site goes on and off. Let's go. Coming to your hosting company's dashboard, you can click here on Advanced PHP Configuration, and you will land on this screen. You go to PHP Options. You will go down to the option that talks about PHP memory. Here I have it set to 512 megas. I can change it to 1024. Keeping in mind that my plan has 3 gigs. Incredible, 3 gigs of RAM. I can change, for example, to 1024, come down here, save, and this step, after a few seconds, can completely change the performance of your website, including making several plugins that were stopping working due to the use of PHP are available on your website. Excessive memory or not excessive, just the necessary usage, get them back up and running. So, check with your hosting company if your plan has memory values greater than 1 gigabyte. 1024 gigabytes. Ideally, plans should have more than that because PHP is just one of the parts that will use your hosting's memory. A very simple step that can solve many problems is to disable the CDN network if you use it on your WordPress. Some plugins and themes may have problems with the content that is available via CDN. Networks such as Cloudflare, CDN Max, among others, can be temporarily or permanently disabled to resolve issues with your WordPress site. So in our example, I'm going to go to Cloudflare and disable the CDN network. I'll click Edit on my DNS entry and disable the proxy. By clicking Save, I disable the CDN service, and in about 30 to 40 minutes, I can try again to access my website. Now let's move on to the solution, where we will change Taccess. In many cases, restoring Taccess to the WordPress default resolves most issues. However, it is important to pay attention to the following. If you use a caching plugin within WordPress, you must deactivate the plugin first. If your WordPress isn't even loading, then yes, you can change Taccess first and later disable the cache plugin. Most caching plugins change the WordPress Taccess file. Let's go. I'm going to open my hosting panel again. I'm going to come to the File Manager. Go to the File Manager and look for the current Taccess of my website in public.html. I will look for the Taccess file. It is here. The first thing I should do is create a copy of it. So I go to Copy File, select the current folder I'm in, copy, and it will create another access for me outside of public.html. Another method for you to make a backup is also to simply right-click and turn access into a zip file, for example, and then you will have your zip in case you need to restore. Okay, let's open access. Notice that my access is completely changed. These changes are due to my Lightspeed cache plugin. It makes changes, but the original WordPress access doesn't look like this. In the official WordPress documentation, we can see the original appearance of access. In an error situation, you can copy the content, paste the new content inside access, and save the file. This will help you test whether your website will work again or not. If the site does not work again, restore the file as it was, and the file does not work again. And let's go to the next step. One way to fix problems is also by changing the permissions of the folders where your plugin was installed. In many cases, a person unzips a zip file directly into the WordPress folder where the plugin is located, and this changes the permissions and folder owner, causing critical errors within WordPress. Let's go back to our hosting company's dashboard. I came to Files, File Manager, access our File Manager, our File Manager, go to Public HTML, access WP content, go to the Plugins folder, and here we find all the plugins installed within WordPress. Note that they have specific folder permissions. This is the folder permission pattern within the web. If your directory is not with these permissions, you can right-click, you can come to Permissions, and change the permissions. Note that the permission is 755. If I check any box, I change the permissions. The default is 755. Check the recursive, directories, and files option and click Update. Important: if you want to keep the original state of the folder, before making the change, you can right-click, come to Archive, select the file format, and it will create a backup for you with the original state. Here the permission is different, but within this zip file, the permissions remain the same as they are on your screen. In some cases, simply clearing the cache solves problems within WordPress. So what are we going to do? By clicking here next to the refresh button, we go to Site Settings, go to Delete Data, delete the data, reset the permissions, and reload the page. But instead of clicking the reload button, I'm going to press it on the keyboard, Control and the F5 key, so that I can do a reload without cache. Once this is done, the page will be reloaded without using the cache, and if I have any problems caused by the cache, it will be resolved. Another step is to change the browser you are using. I know this step seems obvious, but in many cases it solves problems. Let's test. Let's go. Let's select the browser we were using previously, copy the URL, and simply paste it into another browser. It can be any browser, and on your computer you certainly have more than one browser. If you are using Windows, it comes by default with Microsoft Edge. If you're on Mac OS, you have Safari. If you're using Linux, it comes standard with Firefox. You can switch between browsers to see if the web page opens. Another important tip is to try to open the same page on your cell phone. A more advanced way to identify errors in WordPress is to use WP Debug. Let's enable this feature within WordPress. In your hosting panel, go to Files, File Manager, and access your hosting's file manager. Access the public HTML folder. Inside the public HTML folder, look for the WP config file. Double-click on it to open the editor, and we'll scroll to the end of the file. Before the last line, we will add 3 lines of code to define the debug. These are 3 lines of code that I just pasted. These lines of code will activate the debug and will save the log file in a folder that I will show you. Let's save the file. To close, now your log will be inside the WP content folder, and a file called debug.log will be created every time WordPress throws an error. I don't have any files in here because my WordPress doesn't have any errors. So that's why I don't have anything in the folder. It's clean. But if my WordPress had any error, the debug.log file would be created here, and I could look inside the log to see what is causing this error. Deactivating WordPress plugins is also a step that usually solves some problems. It may be that what you have within your environment is a compatibility problem and not a specific problem with the plugin. WordPress is a huge ecosystem, and sometimes some developers develop plugins that conflict with other plugins. The best way to find out if the plugin you want to use conflicts with any other plugin by coming to the WordPress dashboard and deactivating the plugins. Clicking on Deactivate the plugin is simply deactivated. However, this has a small problem. In some cases, you will not be able to open the WordPress dashboard. If your case is a case where WordPress doesn't even open the panel, I'll teach you how to deactivate the plugin in another way. Open your hosting company's panel. Go to Files and File Manager or File Manager. Click on your File Manager, and when you open it, you will have access the HTML public folder. Access the HTML public folder. On some servers, this folder may be named www. Go to WP Contents, the Plugins folder, enter it. And inside the Plugins folder, you will see that you will have folders with the names of the plugins you are using. For example, here I have a plugin called Full Wide Page Templates. What I'm going to do is deactivate this plugin, but not here. If my WordPress wasn't opening, I could just rename by clicking with the right button, going to rename, and I change the name of the folder. I will just add an underline at the end and click on rename. Change the name of the folder, and when I come to WordPress and update, I will see that the plugin has been deactivated. So if this plugin was causing a problem in my WordPress installation, I would have deactivated it, and my WordPress would be working again, thus letting me know that this plugin is a problem. If this plugin has been deactivated, as I did now, and even though WordPress didn't work again, I must continue deactivating the other plugins, renaming the folder, or deactivating them through the panel until WordPress works again. The moment WordPress starts working again, I will know which plugin caused the problem. So I'm going to go back to the folder here and return the plugin folder name to the original. Bring the name of the plugin folder back to the original, removing the underline so that the name of the plugin folder remains as it should be. I update my plugins page, and now I can activate the plugin again. All the others, except the plugin that created the error within my site. This way I will know which of the plugins I have within my environment that generated an error in WordPress. Another way to fix errors is to deactivate or change the theme that WordPress is currently using. Let's go. If you have access to the panel, you will do it in a very simple way. Appearance, Themes. Select a different theme and click Activate. Thus, the theme will be activated, and this will change the entire interface of the website. By doing this, you can access your website and check if it works again. Okay, if you don't have access to the WordPress panel, you can also do this through the doubles bank. Let's go step by step. The first thing you have to do is open your hosting file manager so we can check what other themes you have installed. Go to publica.html, go to the WP content folder, go to the themes folder. And inside the folder, you will see all the themes. These themes are the default WordPress themes.
Okay.
Now let's go to your hosting panel and locate your database. Okay, PHPMyAdmin. Let's go into PHPMyAdmin to be able to modify your database. We are going to look for a WordPress table that is responsible for changing the default WordPress theme. Let's go here to our database. We have the options table, and we're going to look here for the themes table. Let's switch here to page 2. No. And here we find the template and style sheets. Here are the two tables you need to change your WordPress theme. So let's go. Let's assume I don't want to use this theme because this theme is causing a problem on my website. I can come here and get the name of another theme, clicking here on rename. Copy the theme name, cancel it. Come here, double-click, and change the theme name. Down here, again, changing the name of the theme. I click off the screen, and that's it. The two lines were swapped and changed. When I go back to my WordPress, I will notice that the theme that is active now is again this theme here. So, by doing this, I changed the active theme, and if the active theme was generating any type of error within my WordPress, I just correct it. Once this is done, I either change the theme of my website or I update the theme that was causing the problem. Time is money. If you need a team to solve problems with your applications, your infrastructure, and your web application, contact us. The link in the description has our calendar open to the public with hours and days that you can select. Check out and receive our exclusive service from a bunch of technology-mad people for a client who needs it. Your time is worth a lot to us. If you don't want to, that's okay. Just watch the video until the end, and I'm sure you'll be able to solve your problem. If you want to make money solving WordPress problems, there's a link in the description that will take you to the best training there is. I want you to think about the following. What do you think is most likely? That someone pays you $1,000 for a website that they don't even know if they need? Or that someone who already has a website working and has a problem pays you $1,000 to solve it? Solve problems with tools that already exist. It is a huge and little explored market. You have the opportunity to work on the urgency, the need of businesses that are already active. Click on the link in the description, and I'm sure you'll like it. Let's go, guys. If none of the steps in this video were able to solve your problem, I will teach you how to contact XML Sitemap support at WordPress.org. Firstly, I will leave this link that I am accessing here in the first comment for you. You will be able to access exactly this page where I am here. By using the link, you will log into your WordPress.org account. Go back to the link here, and we will enter the support part. Entering the support part, we will create a topic that is nothing more than a support ticket. We will create this ticket. First, a little title that will basically be the error that is happening to you. You will put the link to your website, and now comes our special point here in this video, which is the copy, the text that we will leave ready for you to place within the message that you will send to the plugin support that will facilitate the developer who will try to help you understand what is happening to you. The plugins, the things that are running within your environment to be able to decipher in a much simpler, much faster way what error you are having and how to resolve this error. So follow this step by step here, and you will definitely get a much faster response from the plugin support, and you will be able to resolve your problem without too many addendums. Okay, let's go. First thing I left here ready for you to put is your hosting company, which is our hosting company in this case. It will be Hostinger. I will also put your PHP version, your WordPress version, and the version of your plugin, remembering that none of this information should be followed to the letter. You have to include in your message that you are going to send your information about your website, about your environment. To support, whenever you send a support message about this type of thing, I strongly recommend that you place all the plugins that are active within your website, because even if they don't have any type of connection between them, they can cause some type of error. So let's go there separately from everyone for the other plugins. I recommend that you place the cache plugins and specify whether they are active or not while you are sending this message to them, while you are receiving this error. Because this is a very important point. A few steps ago, I taught you how to activate WP debug. And if you have received any type of message, whatever that WP debug is. I recommend that you also put it within this message that you will. A very simple but very important thing is right here to the support team. What the function is of what you're trying to do within your website with the plugin, what you're trying to do, how it should work, and also write a little message explaining what is really happening and what the error is that you are receiving. Finally, here we will put the tags and select the last box here, so you can be notified when your ticket is answered. These two boxes that are up here are very specific things about what you wrote in the topic. I recommend you give it a read, but you probably won't need to mark any of them. Okay. Final addendum before you send this message to support is that you should always write these messages in English, as it is the most used language on the web, and certainly writing this in English will greatly facilitate and speed up the process of them responding to yours ticket. Okay. And that's it. You can submit a submission. You will have contacted their support directly, and that's it. The video will end here. Thanks. That's it.